Okay, it's September 14th, and that nice, powerful low pressure that had been sitting here yesterday is now broken up, and they have used two things to break it up, the aerosols and massive Haarp downburst of dry air, and I'm going to prove both of those. This is midday in visible light mode. Here it is later in the day, visible light mode, and you can see the circulation is not only broken up, but something strange is happening right here, and I'll get into that in a second. Here's the water vapor mode, and we can see a lot of aerosols being laid up here. And those aerosols are not going to affect this low pressure. They're just going to go into Washington State and Oregon and California and mess up the skies there and prevent any rain. We can also see some aerosols being laid here. Let me zoom in. Now, these are being laid to weaken the low pressure and cause it to break up. You can see here these chemtrails or aerosol trails being laid there. Okay, a couple hours later, even more aerosols laid here, and these will all go into Oregon and California, guaranteeing your drought continues. Okay, and I got to tell you, this blue color is just the cloud tops, it's not rain. Okay, later on, a couple more hours, more aerosol trails, and now they're also starting to lay them in this direction here because it's easier to hide it that way, and a whole lot more aerosols being sprayed down here. So this is midday now, and they're really going at it. Okay, you can see more aerosols. We're also seeing that the eye is starting to not be circular anymore. More aerosols on the southwest. Now we see these really long aerosol trails here, and they're really well hidden in here in this satellite map, but we can definitely see them. In fact, they're actually coming into California here right at the edge. In fact, we can see three parallel ones laid right there. Okay, so, and down here. Okay, so it's basically broken up here. This is late in the afternoon. We got one more shot, and this is almost sunset. Here's almost sunset, and they're just still spraying just out here like mad. Just solid, long stripes of aerosol spray. And now we see that the eye of the low pressure is really smeared out. It's destroyed. There will not be any rain. Now, let me look, just show you the precipitation prediction map. And that's 3 days out. I'll just step through real quick. See, there's no precip here. And I'm going to go through real quick. We just do not see any precip coming from this system. There's 24 hours, 48 hours, 36 hours into the future. There is no precipitation coming from that low pressure on the west coast. So let me show you now how the Haarp was involved in this. If we go back to the visible light map at daybreak, and we zoom into this, we're going to notice something strange is happening. Now here's the remnants of the low pressure. We see this counterclockwise movement here. But right here we see this strange thing. There's a hole in the clouds that's opening up here. Okay? And not only that, we see a clear arc here. An arc of dry air, and it's moving to the north, and it's centered on this dry area that's opening up. Okay, this is a Haarp downburst. They heat the ionosphere 90 miles up. It expands so fast it presses air down to the surface, and this dry air is being pressed right here. And also, when it presses down, it starts to roll at the edge, and it moves out at a steady rate, and that's what these rings are. That's what I call the Haarp outflow boundary, or smoke ring, or roll cloud of dry air. And I think I may have one other picture. And here's late in the afternoon. This Haarp downburst has now been going all day, and this is the Gacona, not the tiny prototype one, but the much larger one next to it. This is now the downburst area, and we can see this low pressure is just absolutely broken up. And how we know that this is a Haarp downburst is, zoom a little bit more, you can see some of these clouds, like this one right here, is trying to turn clockwise. See this? Now the air being pressed down is going to form an automatic clockwise rotation, whereas the air rising has automatic counterclockwise rotation. So any clouds here that are going clockwise, like this one right here, signifies descending air, is proof of a Haarp downburst. So this area got a Haarp downburst from the Gacona transmitter. Possibly the Baja transmitter was involved also. In fact, the Haarp transmitters are more effective if they pair up and work together. And that tells you how much computer control is involved with these. But this is definite evidence of a Haarp downburst, and I have actually one other thing to show you. Okay, so here's the dry air roll cloud moving north. So what is going to push this arc of dry air north like that? Let's have a look at the surface pressure map. Here it is. Okay, surface pressure map actually has a high pressure here. There's absolutely nothing in the world that's going to cause that to happen at the surface. So let's see the... okay, here's the jet stream map, and we do have a low pressure here, so that means there is a flow in this direction. But that doesn't cause it to have this nice circular shape with the dry air wrapped up inside this roll cloud that's spinning. So even though we are going to have some north wind, it still doesn't explain the arc shape and the dry air that's enclosed inside that roll cloud. So this is extremely strong evidence that this low pressure was killed by a combination of aerosols and the Haarp downburst. With the Haarp downburst being the primary weather warfare weapon that was used to kill it. I mean, anybody can see right here, there is an area of dry air that's opening up right here. I mean, it's just plain as day. And then here's the outflow boundary of the Haarp downburst. Because as that air is pressed down, it starts to spin at the edge, and then about 2 hours later, you're going to see it come out about this far. I mean, it moves, actually that may be about 3 or 4 hours, but it moves at a certain steady rate, just like a smoke ring travels through the air. This is a Haarp downburst. This is what is going to give California 2 more weeks of drought. Okay, this is proof, and I hope folks can appreciate the strength of this evidence, because this is very strong evidence that this 500-year drought in California is absolutely man-made. It is maintained every day by this same group of, this tiny group of criminals. And I think that's about all I had to say about that low pressure. But they kill every single low pressure that tries to come on shore. And now you've seen it from start to finish, how they kill these low pressures. Please forward this video. Thanks.